So talk to me about insurance for a second. It's when we were coming, right out of, I guess I shouldn't say right out of COVID. When COVID hit, it was an interesting insurance landscape because things were kind of starting to shift. It had been hardening for a little bit, but then it felt like all of a sudden like it was going to get bad. But then it got overshadowed by, this coronavirus situation, right? It was like, well, whatever's going on with that, let's just leave that alone because who knows with this. But now you kind of have both of them going on, and anybody who's writing or working in the real estate market or in the personal lines insurance market, it's kind of like COVID what? Because the insurance piece of this is so much more dramatic than the actual impacts of what the virus has had, especially on the real estate market, right? It hasn't seemed to done as much as maybe people would have thought. But as far as the insurance landscape is concerned, that makes it's crazy.
Well, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market, but from an insurance company standpoint, I feel like in the last 2 to 3 months, the landscape has just gone into overdrive of like these things that were coming that you knew, and then all of a sudden they're here. We talked about it in regards to a hard market and what that means, and companies going out of business and tightening their underwriting guidelines. But yeah, the real estate industry has been hot in Central Florida because obviously mortgage rates have dropped significantly, and so it's led people that are still employed and maybe had been searching for a house and now can afford more, or are refinancing and being able to save a little bit of money. I mean, it's just so much activity in the real estate and mortgage department. And I know a lot of our mortgage partners, they just can't get to it all. There's just so much activity, not only on refinances, which is interesting. I would have thought that, obviously refinances are going on and there's a significant amount of refis, but even the purchase business, even people buying new houses and moving into the area. So it's fascinating that within Central Florida specifically, the insurance market, it's probably harder to write a homeowner's insurance policy than, I don't want to say it's ever been, because I've only been in and at this for almost 10 years, but than it's ever been. So
it's been a minute.
It's wild. So I think, the underwriting guidelines, when you talk about how the insurance market is affecting real estate, mortgage professionals, and home closings, is just tighter guidelines. And with tighter guidelines, the company that I think that inspection period for real estate agents is super, super important. Or mortgage partners that have realtor partners that are trying to add value, because ultimately if you're going to buy a home, there's that part in the contract that is that 7, 10-day, 14-day clause that essentially allows you to walk away without losing any money or deposit, and for any reason. It doesn't have to be that you can't get financing or you can't insure the home. It's just for any reason. And so a lot can happen during that time period. And I think for a veteran real estate professional who's looking to do right by their buyer, it's a great time to negotiate on their behalf and really see truly what that home looks like from an insurance perspective, because I think if there's a water heater that's iffy, there's an electrical panel, or there's a roof that maybe it's getting to the end of life, like really what that means from an insurance perspective.
Right.
Not only from a pricing standpoint, but can you insure it the way that it is? And I think that's a great time to get a trusted insurance partner involved, is the minute they go under contract, getting somebody to actually quote the property, give some feedback so you can go back to that seller and negotiate or have a conversation on what will be done pre and post closing. Because another thing that's shifted about the insurance marketplace in Central Florida is there used to be multiple companies that would allow for these small repairs to happen after closing. If you needed to do an electrical panel, or you needed to even re-roof. Some companies used to let you re-roof and give you 30
days.
And almost no one's going to let you re-roof, especially during hurricane season. So that's something that we're seeing, sellers having to fix stuff before closing a lot more often than we used to.